interference has gotten worse over the last several years. No, I don't think so. I think that we're more aware of it than we've ever been before. You can just go back to any number of these movies of the past. The one that's immediately on my mind, Captain America 1990. Marvel movie. Widely regarded as one of the worst of the worst, Marvel movies of all time, directed by Albert Pyun. And he died a couple years ago, and his wife just found his director's cut of the film. And most of us assumed it was just going to be some extra scenes thrown into it. Turns out a guy watched it. He posted a video about it, and it's a totally different cut of the movie where it's in a different order. The way that it treats flashbacks and stuff from the 1940s, it's handled entirely differently, entirely different score, different use of music. Everything about the movie's different ending, different themes, everything about it. But the studio saw it, didn't like it. They took the movie away from him, and they cut their own version of it. That's the film that everybody's seen. And it looks like in the near future, we're going to get his real version of it. Probably won't win a lot of people over, but for me, seeing that is huge. They did the same thing to his movie Cyborg with Jean-Claude Van Damme. But back in 1990, how would you hear about that? How would you know about that? So it's just, there's some things like that were just, you didn't hear about it. But you can go Superman 2. The movie was 80% shot with Richard Donner, but because Richard Donner was fighting against the producers and trying to like really raise the bar of quality, he butted heads with the producers, the people financing it. So when they decided not to finish Superman 2 while they're making Superman 1, because they were shooting them back to back, when they finished it 2 years later, they brought in a different director. And there's some awareness of that happening, but like imagine if that happened now. That they shot 80% of a movie with the guy that did a hit film that was widely regarded. Like all these years later, it's the Mount Rushmore of comic book movies, Richard Donner's Superman, and they replaced him. They didn't have him back. That'd be everywhere. And so this stuff's always kind of happened, but the internet, social media, the nature is there's like a trickle down of it too, of as soon as not only can this information be leaked on the internet, that creates a culture of leakers. So if in my videos, I start saying, hey, I heard from someone at a test screening, fill in the blank. As soon as I say that, anyone else that sometimes goes to test screenings hears that and they go, if I message Sean about this, he'll put it in a video. So like I've got thoughts, Mickey 17, I know someone that's seen it. I know someone's watched it a year ago. I know someone that's watched Mortal Kombat 2. I've got notes for whenever I talk about Mortal Kombat 2. I have notes about it because it kind of creates that culture of discussing it. And the internet creates an environment where people that see it at a test screening can message someone with a following, and all of a sudden, they're breaking their NDA, but there's no way they could ever be discovered or whatever. So it just creates a scenario where we know more about all of it. We hear the stories. It's the information age, and therefore it's all right out there for us to know about it and everything like that. But that's where like a lot of these, when I do some of these like horror deep dives and stuff, one of the things that's fun about them is there's so much more openness about what happened in the 80s and remaking movies and reshooting it, firing directors, and like with the Halloween movies, Friday the 13th, there's so much detail about the craziness that it's fun to hear that. But it was going on in the 80s. There's two different cuts of Halloween 6 with Paul Rudd. Two totally different versions, totally different implications with certain things ending, totally different endings for the film. Stuff's always kind of happened, but now we know about all of it. Now, maybe one way there's a little bit more is you have such dominant franchises that are so big studio, IP, producer driven. Like when you have the biggest franchise of all time, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it is so producer driven with Kevin Feige and his Parliament, it makes it seem like just everything is being dominated by the studios and all this interference. And then when you double down on that with something like the Sony Spider-Man universe, where it's so clearly this is not This is not some auteur director with a vision for Craven and they let him do his thing. You watch it and you go, oh my goodness, everyone has their hands in the pot. Everyone's fiddling with this thing. You just watch it and you feel that. And nowadays, the internet provides a way for us to know every single one of those stories. Most of these clips are pulled from my Patreon live streams. I do about 6 live streams every single month. For $2 per month, $20 per year, you can get access to all the exclusive videos and live streams. For $5 per month, you get your name on my end card. At the top tier, you get a 30-minute video chat with me each month. The link down below in the description has more information.